So we have a UV5R and a UV5R. On the right is one of the first UV5Rs I bought. Geez, maybe 2016. I'm not sure. It was when they first came out. A while ago now. They're both tuned to FRS channel 1. You can actually see the differences in the color, the backlight color. The one on the left is considerably newer, I'd say from 2019 or early 2020, probably 2019, going by my own serialization ID number on the radio itself. The radio on the right, you can tell, I know the lighting is pretty bad. You can actually see some differences in these radios. This one is, it's decent light. Big one is the display. The way that the radio handles displaying the S meter. So to demonstrate that, this is open squelch on an empty channel. See that? It reads it as a full-scale signal. So the signal meter here is actually just all or nothing. If there's a signal at all, it reads it as a full-scale signal. It actually does still show, you know, whether or not you're transmitting high or low power, but as far as received signal strength, it just shows whether you have a signal or you don't.
Cable down, cable down, cable down.
So these guys on channel 1, FRS channel 1, are not, you know, real local level strong. They're there, but they're not full scale. So I'll go to the newer one, and this is not the current one. This is not the, you know, 2 meter and 70 centimeter only one. This is the one before that, or maybe a generation before that. My understanding is that there's like 4 or 5 generations of these radios out there. The old one I was showing you a few moments ago is, to the best of my knowledge, speaking as someone who has, you know, owned at some point, you know, or another, and sold maybe 60 or 70 of these damn things. There are at least 3, 4, maybe 5 different generations of the UV5R. I'm not talking about the UV5R Plus or the UV5RE or the UV5RA or, you know, I get some focus. Come on. Of course it's not focusing because there's no light. It's dark. Stupid phone. Alright, there we go. So if we get a signal on here. You can see this actually shows the signal strength. So let's see if we can do this on a more repeatable basis. You can actually see that it shows it, you know, a signal strength. So we got multiple users on FRS channel 1. That's not surprising. And of course that's set to high power. Let's see if I can punch this frequency up on the other one. Another thing that you can look at is the keypads, and again, I don't have very good light. So you can see look at the size of the numbers on the keypad there, and just look at the difference in the blues in the backlight. The older radio has a smaller, kind of more, it's a different font. The numbers are smaller, a little bit harder to read. Yes. Some DMR, QRM there. Another interesting thing about these old radios, anyway, is the frequency coverage. This is how the radio came out of the box. I haven't done any modifications or anything like that. I've never opened these radios up in the sense of actually physically opening the radio up to do like a Mars Cap mod or something like that. So on the UHF side, we'll go to 520, which is supposed to be the top end of these radios' coverage. It's supposed to be 400 to 520, but it just keeps going. We'll type in 520-999-99875, and then it stops. Then it goes back down to 400. On the VHF side, it gets even crazier. We'll type in 174. This is supposed to be the top of the coverage. I'm just going to let you keep going to, say, 175. Yep. Is it going to let me transmit? Sure is. 176. Yep. 176.975. And it lets you go to 176.99, 875 or 176.9975 or whatever frequency step you want to use. And then it rolls back over at 130. I don't know how much power it's putting out at these frequencies, but this is on the VHF air band. So I'm really not going to transmit in there for obvious reasons. Transmitting in the aircraft band, that does include the section from 136 to 136.0 to 136.975. There's really no way to put this, no other way to put this. Transmitting in the aircraft band is a real asshole move, and you should never ever do it. There's really no reason to ever do it. And if you're one of those guys who's like, I would just pick a random frequency and nobody else uses that frequency, so it's cool. Well, no, it's not. It's people like that guy who are the reason why these radios are more regulated now than they were. So I actually know why this isn't working on this one. I actually throttled the coverage on this myself using chirp. So I don't think it'll go too much higher than 470 or something like that. Oh, okay, so it's letting me go past 470, 480 maybe? 511? Alright, so it's 512. Yep, 512. Which is where it should be. And I believe the coverage on these rigs is throttled for VHF too. Oh, it's not, okay. So that stops at 137, and that is something I did myself. So if I ever sell this rig, it doesn't transmit in the aircraft band. Some of these have been throttled even more, so they don't transmit in the amateur band, or they only transmit in the amateur band, what have you. And they don't transmit in the marine band. That's another set of frequencies that you don't really want to mess with unless you are actually using it for marine band purposes, in which case, knock yourself out. But transmitting in the marine band is the same as transmitting in the air band as far as I'm concerned, but you can disagree with me on that if you want. It's fine. if anybody's wondering, I have a Part 90 license, and I have a GMRS license, and I have an amateur license. So when I transmit on Part 90 frequencies, and when I transmit on GMRS or FRS frequencies, I'm doing it with a license. You know, on the MERS frequencies, yeah, I mean, I realize that people are transmitting anyway. Just kind of want to illustrate the difference in these rigs. I know there's no light, and I'm sorry, it's after dark, or you know, sun setting, twilight. But someone who's been dealing with these radios for a long time. I'm really trying to remember when I got my first one, and it was like the coolest thing ever because it would, you know, let me transmit out of band, and it was a dual bander, and you know, field programmable radio. You put all the FRS channels in there and everything. You know, I remember when the Wuxon radios came out, and everyone was like, "Whoops, let's reset the thing." Everyone was like, you know, "Oh my God, this is the end of the world," and kind of predicted what's happening now. Where, you know, these rigs that are sold with field programmability, or what Motorola folks would call FPP, front panel programmable radios, under Part 90 regulations for Part 90 use and for Part 95 use. It's not supposed to be able to. You're not supposed to be able to just punch in a frequency and go. You're throttled, and you're only, you know, able to use a certain number or a certain set channels of frequencies. So that's why there are you know, MURS and FRS and GMRS versions of these radios, and radios like the, you know, BF-F8HP and other radios like that. And if you look at my old videos from years and years ago, I've got a B828, which is the ancestor of the, you know, 888S Baofeng rig, UHF handheld 16-channel radio. You know, I bought that back when they first came out, so and it had a bunch of random frequencies in it, just like the ones, you know, not the ones that you get now, but the ones that you got before they made them FRS out of the box. So it's kind of interesting because the number of amount of FRS traffic has increased significantly over the past, you know, couple years, as the amount of these rigs that are, you know, rigs like the Retrospective or whatever you pronounce it, have become more popular on, you know, on the FRS channels, on legal channels, as opposed to just, I'm going to use 462.125, and it's cool because it's got a PL, so the frequency must be clear. No, it's not. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. And that's all for now.